in this hour.
Sorry, Heat fans, we can't wait any longer. Time to show America one of the worst beatdowns in NBA playoff history. Cavs completing the sweep, and look at that record, went up 3-0 going into a Game 4 situation, best in NBA history, and Jared Allen and company were like, we are here for a good time, not a long time. They came out and jumped all over the Heat. Donovan Mitchell with the three, Evan Mobley with the drive and the finish. It's 17-5. Now it's 28-8. Yes, that's a 20-point deficit already. Mitchell, the lob to Allen. They're up 22. A couple possessions later, Mitchell with the steal. Coast to coast, because he's chilling most. The Cavs are up 32-8 in the DeAndre Hunter. The Cavs outscored the Heat by 26 points in the first quarter. Second largest point differential in playoff team history. And Heat fans, they were just making a beeline to hide there in the arena. It's a club if you didn't know that. Second quarter, Cavs just getting it done from three. Evan Mobley, Max Strus. And then Ty Jerome off the steal. Gonna find Hunter. They were up 39 at the half. Third largest halftime lead in NBA playoff history. And it will continue to grow. We're in the third quarter now. It's 86-41. Mitchell. Oh, come on. Mitchell again. Cavs are up by 48 going to the fourth quarter. First team in play-by-play era to have two 40-point leads in the same series. Mitchell had 22, and it just kept going. Everybody was out there doing something. Isaac Okoro, he knocks it down. Javonte Green, yes, everybody got to play a lot of minutes. Cavs were up by as many as 60 at one point. This was embarrassing in Miami, but the Cavs move on with the sweep.
I was telling Jalen Tyson, man, like, this is special. I was telling him, like, this is your first playoff series. This is what you're watching. It's like something that isn't normal. Like, you know what I'm saying? So for us, understanding that this is special. We've been doing special things all year, but we didn't come here just to sweep in the first round and get to the second. You know what I mean? So the goal is how can we, take advantage of this rest, this break, and be ready to go for the next round.
Damn, it was humbling. This series was humbling. These last two games are embarrassing, but Cleveland's also a very good team. We won whatever we won. They won 65. We're as irrational as we usually are, thinking that we have a chance to win this series, and they showed us why, we weren't ready, for that.
Humbling to say the very least. The Cavs are moving on, and Cleveland had the largest point differential in a single series in NBA postseason history at plus 122. The previous best of 121 was by Denver over New Orleans in the 2009 first round. And Brian Windhorst joins us now from Miami. Brian, we're going to get to the Cavs advancing in a moment, but first we got to rip off the Band-Aid for the Heat here. How on earth are they explaining what happened here in an elimination game, no less?
Well, I can actually hear the music at the nightclub. You can tell Eves, but I highly doubt there's a lot of people in there on a Monday night after a 55-point loss to end the season. The Heat thought after they were really close to a big comeback winning or loss in Game 2 that they'd come down here and be able to do something with the Cavs in Games 3 and 4. And what ended up happening, Darius Garland missed the last couple of games with a toe sprain, and the Cavs put out a big lineup, and they put in, extra time for DeAndre Hunter, extra time for Dean Wade, and quite frankly, they were not ready for that. The big lineup walled off the paint. They had to rely on Tyler Hero, and guys, Tyler Hero had a very difficult few days. Was basically picked on by the entire Cavs offense, focused on by the entire Cavs defense. They announced it to him and to the world what they were doing. And then tonight, in a game that I think Tyler would like to forget, he was 1 of 10 shooting and was minus 44. So I think that sort of encapsulates how things went sideways for the Heat in this series. The Cavs played brilliantly. This is the best they've played in 2 months. They had a big win over Boston at the end of February, and they pretty much put it on cruise control. They're off cruise control, and they had a very impressive showing over this last 8 days.
And we will circle back to the Cavs in a minute here, but Brian, it's obviously a transitional period for Miami after moving on from Jimmy Butler. What needs to change there with the Heat?
So the Heat made a big decision at the trade deadline. They had two options for Jimmy Butler. They could have traded Butler to the Suns, and that would have cost them young players and draft capital. Or they could have done the deal that they did, which was receiving Andrew Wiggins and a first-round pick from Golden State. And while I can't predict what's going to happen this summer, and the Heat can't predict who will be available, when they made the decision to not go for Durant and instead go to acquire assets, I think they showed their hand that they're going to be trying to get another player in the trade market this summer. There may be a heavy market, there may be a light market. That's all going to be determined over this next 4 to 6 weeks, but the Heat will be there, and teams and players will want to come here. They've wanted to come here for decades. Whether it works out here or not, I'm not sure. They do have some assets to use, but obviously this was not the last impression they wanted to leave for everybody who may want to come to Miami.
Yeah, to say the least, a lot of work for Pat Riley now to do. And Brian, as for the Cavs, 64 wins, the top seed in the East. How would you describe what the Cleveland locker room was like after this win and the sweep tonight?
Very businesslike. They were obviously in a good mood, having won by 55. But, last year they got up 2-0 on Orlando in the first round. Came down here to Florida, lost games 3 and 4. Next thing you know, they're in a 7-game series. It's a grinder. Some guys got beat up, but when they got to the series against the Celtics in the second round, they paid that price. You could tell they've been in a more business mindset. Clearly, they came here to Miami. They had a 1 o'clock game on Saturday. That is a trap game if you've ever seen one. They were all business, winning by 37, and then clearly came into tonight not messing around, putting up 43 points in the first quarter and getting up by 60 points. But Donovan Mitchell, throughout this entire season, when they won 15 in a row, when they had big victories, kept pointing out it doesn't matter what we do in the early part of the season, it only matters what we do in the end. And that attitude did not change, and it definitely carried over. They are skating to the right of me right now, enjoying time with their friends and family before they leave. But that's been the most giggling I've heard all night is out after the game.
No photobombing here. We can count on that, Brian. Obviously a very, very dangerous team. And Brian, sit tight. Michael's got some major injury news regarding Dame Lillard.
Yeah, Kevin, the fears confirmed in Milwaukee today, an MRI revealing that Dame Lillard had in fact suffered a torn left Achilles and that loss to the Pacers. Now, Lillard will undergo surgery, could miss the entire 2025-26 season while he recovers. Now, this injury came about a month after he was diagnosed with blood clots in his right leg, causing him to miss the last 14 games of the regular season and the first game of the playoffs. All right, Brian, so if you look at the current build of this Bucks roster, it may not really be something that's going to be good until like maybe 26, 27, right? So this front office, though, has been aggressive in making moves in the past. They changed coaches. They brought in Dame. How do you expect them to operate this offseason?
Well, they've got a bunch of free agents, from Bobby Portis to Brook Lopez to Taurean Prince. They're very much operating in the red over the last couple of years, and now they know that Dame Lillard will miss a big chunk, if not all, of next regular season. And so the ball comes into Giannis's court. They have been incredibly unlucky the last 3 years with injuries in the postseason. That is not anybody's fault. That is misfortune. But there is a devastating stat out there that I can't get past, and it's got to be on Giannis's mind. In the last 9 playoff games that Giannis has played, he has averaged 30 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists on 54% shooting, and the Bucks are 1-8. That's very hard to swallow, and with Dame, out for an extended period, selling to him that this is where he needs to remain is going to be a challenge. Now, Giannis has taken steps this year to not get in front of anything. He is focused on this season. He has given no indication about how he may approach this offseason. He's still got 2 years left on his contract, but clearly the entire NBA is going to be waiting for a signal from him about whether he wants to remain in Milwaukee or he wants to explore other opportunities. It will probably be the most important thing going into the offseason as teams wait for that lean one way or the other.
It's kind of hard to believe this team won a championship a couple years ago, and they're nowhere close to doing that anytime soon. It feels right now. Brian Windhorst there in Miami. Enjoy that VIP table at Hyde, brother.
It's wide open for you, Eve.
What's your favorite team? Comment below, and if you like the video, please leave a like. This really helps the channel grow and brings you even more content. Oh, and if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? getting more competitive every day, and all the teams are looking for reinforcements to win the championship. And only here can you follow your favorite team daily with incredible content from different sources.